We're gonna have to get into this more later. I feel like there might be a part 2 or I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of weak parents in the world. We can always bring this back.
Bro,
it's like business. Parenting ain't going nowhere. It's a business within itself.
I want to appreciate, Say for speaking up and speaking out about this as well too, and all the other women who are, all the other people who are vocalizing this as well too. We hear this. Yeah, I know Crystal tired too. Crystal deals with this all the time. Yeah. That's why the teachers be drinking so much. All right, so
I don't know why y'all apply for the positions. I feel like for real, it's already been a shortage, and we need to go ahead and really strike and boycott. It's over with.
But that's the problem. These kids, the unions. What about the unions? Speak loudly.
Who incentivized them to stay?
Certain counties, certain cities, their school systems will put in place that they cannot strike if they get a paycheck or if their pay raises get more than like 5%, 6%.
So they look at the parents' income.
Say if like
they own and buy a check is what she's saying. Long as they get raises, they can't strike.
They say,
okay.
Like say like okay, for my school system, there are definitely a lot of teachers who are like maybe 2 to 3 year teachers that are making more than me. Say if their income is probably 65, 75, whatever. And that's because it's in the inner city. They can have it where their teachers union will say, you guys cannot strike because it's going to mess up our whole policy. It's going to mess up our whole...
That's the whole point of a strike.
Yeah, the whole point of a strike. Fuck your policy. It's not working.
But the thing about it, which I understand what you're saying, but what we're saying is we need people in the school system who actually care about our children and that are willing to run the risk, because that's what it takes.
But see, how do you do that in a struggling economy either? When one teacher's salary can't afford you a 1-bedroom apartment. It's tough, but like you said,
the system is designed.
The system is designed for this. So, all right. This is a tip.
They need to stop going to school for teaching. I don't even understand why anybody wants to be a teacher. Ever since I found out the salary when I was, I do too.
Some people have a passion.
I do too. I love children. I don't like them, but I love children, and I have a.
Say you don't like them.
I don't like them. I don't like them, but I do have a
different
love.
Phrase, different word. People.
No, I don't like children. I'm a stand on it. But you just said you like them. I said I love them. Get it right. There's a difference between liking and loving somebody. I'm glad that
you elaborated because
no, I said it. You misheard me. I said I love children, but I don't like children.
We gotta be very careful.
No, I said love. I do love children. I don't like them. The same ones that I love, I don't like.
See, now Lord have mercy. They're gonna have a field day. All right.
I can understand her sentiments because
I love teaching.
I can say this for me being a substitute last school year versus me being a registrar this year, because that's not my real title on paper. The problem is, some of my kids I had last year, yes, I love some of them. This year, some of them I just want to be like, yo, I'm about to pluck your ass, go to fuck the class. Go do something productive. No, you in the hallways want to fight every fucking single minute, second, millisecond.
It's hard for you guys to rectify a situation that's already gone too far. Like, it really starts at the earliest stages of them being little kids, and that's where like the
take a shit.
Yeah.
But the thing about it, yes, it's like Jamila said, it be some dusty ass moms out here,
right?
And they be coming in here. Actually, it's crazy. I had a few stories where the moms will come in there and try to fight the kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
because if the right child fuck with mine, I'm on my way.
But that it's not even that
on my way.
Fight.
No.
I'm talking about like if somebody hit you, hit the back. That's that's normal. But it's the fact that it's the carrying on for like
people don't know how to it's going to continue on. Yeah, I get it. Like when I was growing up, when I was a kid, I remember I was in elementary school. I got into a fight, and my mom, she put me on punishment.
Can you put my phone on the charge? The charge.
My mom put me on punishment when I got home. I was just like, but that person hit me first, and I fought back. My dad got home. He was like, "Did they hit you first?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Go outside and play." Shout out to my dad.
No, for real.
But not to condone the fighting, but we're parents. This parenting is multi-layered, right? Too. Yeah. We know fighting is wrong, but we're not going to let you. Somebody put their hands on you. You're not doing anything about it either.
You have to know what you're talking about when it comes to. Like I said, it goes back to a level of awareness. Right. Like me, my son is going to have a nice share of fights if he have to. At the earliest level possible. And even if elementary and middle school, that's when it's going to be. Not at school. I'm going to try my best to make sure that I teach him how my parents taught me. But at some point in time, I'm not going to lie, I got in a fight at school because I had no choice but to defend myself. Right. And we're not saying that to condone fighting in the school. There's other ways to do it too. If their child needs to learn discipline, but I do feel like boys need to get that experience of defending themselves, because at one day, they're going to need to learn how to defend themselves. They might need to learn how to defend their family, their wife, their children. And when do you learn your strength for real? Unless you are practicing it intentionally. Yeah, I actually want to start taking boxing lessons just so I can make sure my hands stay sharp. Like there's ways to do it, without getting into trouble. So maybe signing up your kid to boxing or taekwondo or karate, and that gives them a lot of opportunity to get their energy out there as well too. Even just an organized sport, like I was always in sports. So like I played sports all the time. I was never. Wow. I mean, you came out great. Well, the military probably helped you out. No, the military didn't do nothing. I wasn't even there that long. I was just raised properly. Right. I was raised with structure in my house. Right. I would say this though. I would say we're gonna get to y'all questions in a second, man. We're gonna answer them in a second. Go ahead. Big mama. Nobody's afraid of other people. There's no big mamas anymore. There's little mama. Well, not even twerking the sexy red. No. With their grandkids. Right. That's true. But nobody. Bernice Burgos is a grandma. I'm just keep saying it. All right, keep going.
Anyway, but nobody's afraid of somebody else's parents coming to their parents and like, look, I saw your kids in the street. They were doing X, Y, and Z that they shouldn't have. It's embarrassing. Right? They're not afraid of being embarrassed anymore, which is wild. But then when come up to school, act up, cause a whole lot of hoopla in the school, and then they get home and it's all okie doke. Like, yeah. What the fuck is that? And I don't even want to be rude about it. But at some point, take the phone, take the PS5, take whatever you gotta take. Yeah. Don't let them go hang out with these. They shouldn't even have those things. See, that's where we get to taking stuff. Why do we even have these things?
Kids are getting iPads and iPhones at 3-4 years old. That was my other point to that too. We don't know what the long-term effects of human beings starting out at the age of 3 with the internet in their information face. We are not going to understand this probably until another 40-50 years down the road when these kids become adults and what is transpiring. We can kind of see it now, because typically the younger generation, they don't work anymore. Like if you go to a restaurant now and you go to any restaurant, the service is horrible. Typically wherever you go, they're looking at their friends getting paid big money on TikTok and Snapchat. And it's like, why am I in here working for $15 an hour at your Dunkin' Donuts? Fuck your coffee, nigga. Like that's how they feel. They don't want to be there. They don't want to work. They're barely working. Like you can see it visually. What's happening to the generation now? Their attention span is gone. You know what I mean? They need instant gratification.
Imagine being a business owner.
Right, and trying to hire these people.
Yeah,
Lord have mercy.
And how much money and taxes that we are wasting on these people, because I don't think that as employees, we really realize how much it costs to have an employee. We don't pay you by the hour. Right. We pay you by the hour, plus the fee to have you, plus the tax I gotta pay you, plus the insurance I have to have you, plus the membership I have to have with the state of Maryland. An employer has to pay double your salary to have you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Imagine that.
And that's why when these big companies go down, the first thing they do is cut the people. That's the first thing they do because that's the easiest way to cut expenses
and to regain cash flow.
Right.
What was your first job again?
Technically a library page.
Chinese carry out.
And then you helped me get into, where.
You talking about
Champs.
What was your first job?
You worked at Champs?
Remember?
When did you work at Champs?
And you helped her.
I helped you get a job at Champs?
Yeah.
How did I do that?
You told me to talk to a dude at
You weren't there?
After you gave her the nigga. Thank you. The
How long
did
did you work there? I don't remember you working.
Like
Not the one in Waldorf. St. Charles Mall?
Yes. Yes.
How long did you work there for?
Like,
damn.
Thanks for the job.
I don't remember that at all.
I
don't remember that.
I only say this because it's like, yes, back then we were happy to have a job.
Right.
We got some money. And even though it wasn't my technical first job, it was my first job on a tax paper.
Yeah.
And the thing about it was just like happy to get my little $725.
Yo, you want to know why I worked at Champs?
Shoes.
Yeah, my dad said, I'm not buying you no Nikes, no Jordans, and none of that stuff. You got to go get it on your own. That made me like, okay, you're not going to buy it? I'm not wearing Starberries. That nigga would take me to go get some Starberries. I was like, Starberries?
What is that?
$15 shoes. And y'all laughed at me. I mean, shout out to Starberry. He was trying to do a good thing. You know what I mean? But walking around high school with Starberries on was not a good look. So I went to Champs.
Yeah, my dad was a very frugal and cheap African. He did not understand. He didn't even know what a Jordan was to even tell you why you should have it. The difference with my mom, though, she always said you had to have a quality shoe on your foot. She said you're going to need these feet for the rest of your life. And she was a woman that worked on her feet. So she really had to appreciate a good shoe. So that's the only reason why my mom would, and it wouldn't even be a nice Jordan, but it would be a nice Nike or something.
Right. Apologize for the delays. I know the YouTube is lagging on this. So I'm gonna get into the question in here. Indu asks, would you take advice about raising a kid from a person who doesn't have a kid?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Jamila is somebody who has a child, and you said you would take advice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We've all been kids before. Like, this is all based on perspective. We've all been kids before.
Yeah.
And I felt like before I had my son, I always had these views of how I would raise my kids and what I would do and stuff like that. And I didn't speak because I wasn't a parent.
Right.
Because I didn't find it to be my place. And it's not really your place. But if somebody's willing to receive the information, then it's not, then you can give it. But it's not your place to try to pour what you think parenting is. Because you could be right.
Right.
It's not your place. But I was right about everything.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I think that you can get wisdom and knowledge from anybody, honestly. You have to be open to receiving that information. I don't have any kids yet. But I worked so many jobs. I used to work at a summer camp. Crystal, I remember this one. I used to work at a summer camp, and I dealt with kids, and they looked at me like I was a camp counselor, but I was more like a big brother at the same time. So it's like that balance of, instead of me being like a father figure to them, I was more like a big brother figure to them, which still comes with responsibility. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Who can we shout out?
None of them niggas right now. I don't know. Are they in the live right now? I don't know.
No, I know.
Like, comment, and leave something so I know you're here. Shout out to y'all.
I know who's alive right now. There's Roger.
Well, no. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. No.
Yeah, they still out here being dope.
Indu also says, would you, he's asked, I'm sorry, this is Ibra. Ibra asked Jamila, does your son really love soccer like that?
I don't even know. I honestly think he's just doing it to please his dad. He likes winning. Like, this last season was the first season I didn't see him as happy. He got more injuries. All the kids were much bigger than him. He was 5 when the season first started, playing with 8-year-olds. He's 6 now. So it was a tough season for him, honestly. But my heart of heart says that he might like it, but he doesn't thoroughly enjoy it. I think he does it to please his dad.
That's another the topic. We can hit on that another time. Like, when is it okay to have these kind of conversations with your kids, like if they don't like something, because sometimes you can push some kids to like something, and then they'll learn to get a test for it. But sometimes they need to be pushed.
We're not pushing him to like it.
Right.
We're not pushing him to like it. We're just keeping him busy.
Right.
Until he finds out what he wants to do, he gonna do what we tell him to do.
Right.
Because that's our job as a parent. He don't know what he wants until we put it in front of him. All the opportunities that he's gonna get are gonna be the opportunities we present him.
Yeah. And that's so key too. Like, we are too busy letting the world and society put things in front of our kids before we do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, a lot of these parents, they're not parents. They're baby makers. And then they're letting the system and the world parent their children.
Yeah, they're just doing enough to keep them alive.
Right.
I don't know if this is going to be true to say, but Jamila, don't kill me if I say this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like no, not geared towards her. I'm geared towards parents who are a couple, quote unquote, but as soon as the baby comes, they split, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like certain behaviors before even impregnating a woman need to be broken, and certain behaviors before even getting pregnant need to be broken before having the child.
I'll give us an example.
So, like for me, I was like, it's terrible when I'm like really frustrated. After doing some examining, counseling for years, it's my mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's my mom. But that's because she never got help, right?
Mm-hmm.
She never broke certain things when she was younger. And I feel like on that side, if she would have got help, she would have, fixed her traumas back then or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It would never pulled over into me. Now my dad, passive aggressive, slightly got that from him.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it by myself. I try to be a little bit more aggressive with certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like when I'm seeing certain kids, and then I see either one their parent or one could be their dad if dad's a single parent, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Come into the school and they set that shit off. I'm like, y'all go get help. Go get help as a family.
But that's easier said than done, though. Like you said, you can see that there's a problem, but it's hard for one to afford the time, the cost of it. You know what I mean? And then you are so worried about surviving. Like, a lot of us are not in a position where we can really heal because we have other things going on.
Daycare costs freaking college tuition. Daycare is very expensive.
And most babies are accidents. Let's keep it a buck. So you talking about fixing some stuff before the kids get here, baby?
They weren't prepared.
Nobody was prepared.
And I understand.
And some of us was doing what we were supposed to do, baby. Things happen. So it's just honestly, I don't think that it's going to be anything that can prepare you for a child. We do not make kids. I believe God intends on every single child. I believe He handpicks them. There's never a right time.
And I understand that. And I say it's never a right time. I think if it was planned, if it was one of those situations they are planning to have a kid now, they might have never got married.
Mm-hmm.
But you like having 5 drinks every damn night.
Mm-hmm.
That might be all right with her. She might be like, yo, I used to do 10. Why are you getting on me with my 5?
It's not that. It's the psychological shit that ends up in the system. I realize these kids are addicted. Bad to everything.
Mm-hmm.
We got traumas. And I'm gonna say it, then we can move on. For me, whenever I see a problem, I directly go to solutions and examples of people who solve these kind of problems. We're complaining about school systems and stuff like that. Well, now I see why so many people, especially certain people, live in the same community, in the same zip code, and also get mad when certain people move in to that zip code. It's not so much people are just trying to be racist and stuff like that. They are looking at, okay, this is a certain community where we all have certain views and values that we want our children to be raised up in, and this is why a lot of wealthy people, they'll buy properties and then rent where they live so they could be mobile.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, like, you can live in some of the best school districts. Some BS happens, you can get up and move and go somewhere else. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of people that do that kind of stuff. Or, you know, typically they can afford, like, a really good private school or a Montessori or something.
Right.
But a lot of the wealthy kids now, they're going to school at monasteries now. Like, because they know the school system is designed to build workers and not leaders and, you know, entrepreneurs and stuff like that. So when you do have a child, even if it's unexpected, you are now tasked with the job of figuring out how you want to parent and how you want the kids want to be. You can't just leave it up to chance and go with the flow.
That's what a lot of people are doing.
Yeah.
Even from like the earliest stages, do you know that a lot of parents don't feel like you have to teach them anything that the child is to learn when they get to school?
That's crazy. That's really how they think?
I'm talking no ABCs. I'm not. I mean, the ABCs, 1, 2, 3. That's all they got for them.
Every day I learn these kind of stuff and wake up. I just want to thank my parents, man. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to my dad.
Wait until you have kids and you see what's going on. Like, it is so scary.
I knew it was messed up out here, but like the more and more I see and hear, I'm just like, this is getting worse and worse and worse. And it's
really bad because imagine, I don't know about for you, but for me, I was a gifted child. I was always like well advanced compared to the other kids. When teachers and stuff like that saw that in me, they instantly moved me. They're not doing that anymore. They can see how gifted your child is, and it's just like, kudos. Kudos. I'm talking about teachers. Like, you could be right in the school system, and if your child is gifted, it's just like your child is gifted. It will, if it's not to come through like the system, like if that child isn't being tested in that moment for being gifted, it doesn't matter if we know that they're gifted or not. They're not going out of their way to get the child tested. They're going to have like whatever that time is in their system. That could be 3rd grade or whatever the case may be. My teachers knew I was gifted from the very beginning. They always moved me up and placed me in different classes and gave me extra work and different. They're not doing that. In fact, they're holding the smart kids up. My child for last year for pre-K was in half advanced, half special ed, so that the special ed could learn from the advanced. But what did you think that was doing to the advanced kids?
They just want to do it. So everybody.
Oh yeah, no child left behind.
There's
now.
no money for them to separate them. There's not enough teachers for all of these kids being born, and there's not enough money being fed in. So like these are our problems that we're facing in the education system, and that's why I'm gonna wait, man. I'm gonna wait until I know I'm in a good enough position where I can get my kids in a good state. Like, I'm not just having a kid. Like, I can raise. Bless you. Bless you again.
Excuse me.
Listen. I have a house. I have a car. I have a good job. I can move around, stuff like that. But I know even with that, it's not enough.
It's never gonna be a good time. The moment you're waiting for is never gonna be.
I don't believe that.
I'm telling you. Where do you see it happening at? Where you gonna move this child?
I'm gonna 4 more years. Give me 4 more years. Yeah, then I'm gonna start thinking about babies like that.
Because even if you go to Africa and stuff like that, you know what I mean? There's going to be a wealth of information and knowledge that they are going to get.
Yeah.
It's going to be the same amount they're going to miss out on.
What you mean?
It's so much, like, we talk about America so bad and stuff like that, but it's still so much opportunity and benefit being American.
Of course. And
it's going to be hard. That's what I'm telling you. It's going to be so hard for you to... in our lifetime. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that one day that, we're not going to see, because just even us having this conversation today, from the letter earlier to just me really seeing a bigger picture for what God really had planned, it's just like eventually it's going to come. But when it comes to our lifetime, I just don't. It's going to take a lot of time. I feel like we're just now scratching the surface. Like, we're just getting started for what God really has planned for us. Like, we say we coming to the end, these are the last days and stuff like that. But I feel like we really still just getting started. Like, God really know what he doing.
I feel like a reset's coming.
Yeah.
Real soon. I feel like, honestly, the asteroid is like right around the corner. I ain't gonna lie. From every spiritual book, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Judas, whatever, spiritual, they all speak about these kind of times. Men becoming women, women becoming men. Just openly
Are they fighting?
evil stuff. They can't really hear it here. It's fine. There's a lot that's happening now that all speaks to end of times. And I don't think that end of times means that like blackout, we're done. I think it means reset.
Mm-hmm.
I think the earth has been reset multiple times. Mm-hmm. Where, you know, we're rediscovering some things. Like we still don't know what's going on with the pyramids. Like we just they're finding rocket fuel and all kind of stuff over there. This is like, how did this happen 2,000 years before Christ died? And they have this kind of technology in these ancient places. I feel like these ancient civilizations weren't as ancient as we thought. And I feel like every single time
I've been believing that, but I don't know. I always just had my own way of thinking that I feel like I always push to like the back of my mind. And I don't even know if I'm pushing it to the back of my mind or if God is really just trying to push out what I already know. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I just want to survive because I mean
I just want to survive.
I just want to survive, and I want my offspring to survive. Guess. All right, y'all. Let's be intuitive. If all the billionaires are buying up as much farmland and trying to control agriculture and food, that should be a thing in your head. And then if all the other billionaires are talking about going to space tourism, colonies on the moon, colonizing Mars, SpaceX is a thing. You live in California, you see rockets going up every day, trying to pierce the atmosphere, trying different things, doing different things. They, in the words of Cat Williams, they are going to leave us niggas here if we don't get it together. They are planning to move. Whether it's, okay, we are a very vulnerable rock, okay? There's asteroids and comets and stuff like that come by all the time. Mm-hmm. We don't have any, if an asteroid was to come directly into Earth's path, what are we going to do to stop it? Nothing. That's what, Space Force. Why do we have a Space Force? Come on, y'all. Like, the writing's on the wall. So I know my kids, they're gonna have some kind of knowledge on space expedition, agriculture, something important that has to deal with life continuing on. Mm-hmm. I watch these movies, I read these, I try to study like survival skills and stuff like that too, because the world is overpopulated. There's all these just signs of just them like telling you little things. The Earth has never had this many human beings on the planet before. It's never been this many people. It's never been this many carbon emitting products in the air. Planes, cars. We just crossed over 1 billion cars. They kept saying global warming's happening, ozone layers thinning, all these kind of things. We know for a fact, we can look at it with our own eyes that we're draining the resources off of this planet. What do you think is going to happen?
Why do you think that America, especially with as much power as we had, haven't tried to have some form of population control like China and stuff like that?
They do. There's a rock in Georgia right now that says that the Earth shouldn't have this many amount of people on it.
There's a rock.
Yeah, there's a rock. There's like a. Let me see if I can let y'all know I'm not crazy. All right. Georgia. Control. And I don't know if I can have this topic fully because we're on YouTube. I'm gonna try my best though.
What do you think YouTube is saying about this?
Oh, YouTube's gonna silence this.
What?
For what I'm about to say. How the Georgia Guidestones became a magnet for conspiracy theories. They always love to put that on there, but the fact that it exists, it tells you like, they call for keeping the Earth's population under 500 million, but we're way past that. But yeah, there's I don't even know how this got here, but this is here in Georgia.
The 19th Georgia Guidestones, August 1998, have been serious visitors 1970. Where the hell did that come from?
Right, but it's there. Like I said, there's so many signs and things that are here, but just we don't really pay attention to. But the population control is very much a thing. Like they've been doing this in America, like Planned Parenthood, separating the families from the home, mass incarceration.
But it's not stopping us from having children and procreating.
The birth rate slowed down for the first time. Like, you know what I mean? Like they've done things to sterilize men. I'm not going to say specifically what it is on here, but they're doing things to feminize men and masculinize women and prevent people from having more children to slow it down. You guys can look it up on your own, but there's many things that's been put in place to.
Why so janky? Why they can't just do like China and say just don't fucking do it or we gonna kill you? Like, I feel like that's just so simple. When they taught us in school, they made it. I always understood it. I never thought it was a problem. I felt like if this is the rules of this country, this is what you got to do, and if you don't like it, then you got to leave. But unfortunately, I know it's easier said than done. But
because they're trying to control a certain, I want to say it. What's a dominant gene?
Yeah. The black X.
Black X. Yeah, so when you mix a black person and a white person, you get what? You get another black person. Okay. So when you have more black people being populated or brown people populating coming in here, what happens to the other race?
We know that.
Okay. So it's a problem. They want to still. It's survival. We all want to survive, right? But they've been able to stay in power and in control for so long because of these systems that they have in place. They've been trying to keep us from doing it as much because Africa is about to become the largest. It's already the youngest and fastest growing continent in the planet. Nigeria is going to be the most populated country in the world by 2050.
Oh, wow.
Nigeria is going to blow past India and China. That's happening.
That's where we're going then.
That's happening.
That's where we're going.
Shout out to Niger. It's also the wealthiest country in Africa right now.
Right.
So
they did not have to do what they did over them last 10 years. I mean, last 20 years.
What you mean?
Scamming.
Hey, they had to find a way. The
they
Americans
did it. I don't know. God damn.
Yeah, population. Nigeria's population right now is at 213.4 million people. See if I can find Nigeria's predicted population. Highly explosive.
Double.
Yes, it's gonna double in 20 years. 22, 23 years. Yeah. So this is the thing.
Where they getting these numbers, or is this where they trying to tell all us to go? They trying to trick me.
I don't. Well, but that doesn't necessarily mean this is the right place to go.
No. I'm just saying business wise, like if it's already growing and thriving and whatnot. Because I've always been impressed with China too.
Yeah, like I look at examples and see how they do. Because China 20 years ago did not look like what China is today. India 15 years ago does not look like what India is today.
No.
The whole Middle East, just look at it. Look at Dubai 10 years ago. And look at what it is now. There's no excuse for any of these African countries and cities to do the same thing. So, if Nigeria is on the list, Ghana is on the list, South Africa is on the list, Kenya is on the list, there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of opportunities in Africa, and they see it. When I was in Kenya, everybody was there. Not just black people.
Right.
Everybody's there. They understand that Chinese have heavily been involved in African development.
I fought a Chinese girl in Africa. My first fight in Africa was with a Chinese girl. I didn't even understand how the hell she was there. And she spoke Arabic, English, and Chinese.
Right. Because they're teaching their kids to be super excellent too. They understand the power of language. You're going to be moving around. China is overpopulated. 1/3 of the Earth's population is Chinese. We can't fit all y'all in this country. Y'all got to spread out. and we're gonna do that. You're gonna teach. You're gonna learn all this TikTok shit. Our TikTok's gonna look different than their TikTok. Why? Because we're better. Exactly. That's they. All right, man. Y'all know where I'm going with this, man. We have to be intentional with our kids too. Like what Jamila's doing with her son. We need more people doing that same exact thing. Try to make your children better. Prepare them for better. We are better. Like, bro, we're the first people on this planet, man. All right.
My God.
Need I say more?
No, let's move on.
I really enjoyed this conversation, though. It was a lot of topics that needed to be talked about.
This podcast is just doing something different lately. It's inspiring me, though.
Yeah. I enjoy doing it, man. Like, we need to get these thoughts out. It all starts with the thought, then we speak on it. The next thing, we gotta write this stuff down. Bless you. Everything that we feel that is important, that we need to move forward. Anybody watching, still listening, it starts with the thought, then we speak it. Next is writing it down. Once it's written down, we can then take action. It's the little steps first. Stop trying to eat the whole pie by yourself. You know? All right, guys. We thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the Top Hill Podcast. More Kenyan vlogs on the way. Make sure you guys look out for that. By the time this comes out, you guys are going to already know who Marvin is. Plenty of his videos on here. Mafame Musa will be up next. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that interview. And the Nairobi National Park will be coming up next too. So, thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is your boy, Mr. Top Hill Pod, a.k.a. E-Money Boss.
And I'm your girl, Jamila, with her own boss.
Say bye, Crystal. They couldn't hear you. You're not loud enough.
Not say bye, Crystal. That was the funny part.
All right, we out.